they got what was coming to them. I can't sugarcoat that anymore. But also they had a lot of interesting parts of their society. Like the first Spaniards to see Tenochtitlan in, I think it was early 1520. They describe it as being the most impressive thing that they've ever seen. That the city was absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful and perfect and pristine and clean.
What
and
made
that the
it
people
that
were
way
so
to them?
nice. So what does Mesoamerican society look like? Kind of anywhere else in the ancient world, like probably very similar to Rome. I mean, you have people that are just at like subsistence level that are barely making it by. They're, however, I should say, money did not exist. There's no currency. It's all
trading like chickens and shit.
Yeah, it's just trade. So like, trade for trade, my material for your material. There is no concept of money. And what's funny is that as appalled as the Spaniards were at many of the behaviors of the Aztecs, like the thousands of people that the Aztecs were suffering and the way that they would torture people, the Aztecs were just shocked at how barbaric and vicious it was. I'm sorry, the Spaniards were shocked at how barbaric the Aztecs were, but the Aztecs were shocked at they could not comprehend the Spanish lust for gold. It was just like a completely, utterly different society. They did not value gold and material like this in a monetary way. They clearly knew that gold was important, but having gold didn't necessarily make you rich. The thing that made you rich was your bloodline. That's it. That's the only way.
Well, if they don't have money and they're just trading, is it essentially, there's some people just dying out there today. There's some shit going on. I don't know if like those are like pro-Aztec people that are upset what we're talking about, but I swear to God the door's locked, so I think we're good.
The Aztecs are, this is a very,
I love how I just ran with that.
this is a very controversial topic.
Yeah.
So
I'm learning that.
People can be upset about the Aztecs.
That's okay. That's what the comment section's there for.
It's very close to heart, and there's a lot of like Latino, Mexican people that have Aztec blood, and a lot of people feel very strongly about the Aztecs, and they're as polarizing today as they were then, right? Because the Spaniards essentially said that their civilization was absolutely demonic. Like even the Daily Wire came out with a video where they're calling the Aztecs demonic.
Demonic.
Yeah. So they're calling them demonic because of the people that they were sacrificing. But it's really a lack of.
That's Rich from Ben Shapiro. Neither here nor there.
It's really a lack of an in-depth understanding of the Aztec world and the nuances of it. Yeah, they were probably. This is why I always think it's funny. At the same time, I see this from both sides. There are people that go, well, the Spaniards saying that the Aztecs were sacrificing 80,000 people a day and, ripping their hearts out and throwing them off the top of the pyramids. That has to be an exaggeration. I'm like, oh, are they exaggerating by 80,000 people? Like, if they're exaggerating, how many was it? 40,000?
Right.
And so
it's like when people argue over like atrocities today. There were only 40,000. Not 80. It's like, well, wait a minute. Pretty sure that's not good.
So that's kind of the Aztec world. But most people only know the Aztecs for their vicious, savage side, of which they were. They got everything that was coming to them. The Spaniards was like the universe's answer to the Aztecs, right? They got what was coming to them. I can't sugarcoat that anymore, but also they had a lot of interesting parts of their society. Like the first Spaniards to see Tenochtitlan in, I think it was early 1520. They describe it as being the most impressive thing that they've ever seen. That the city was absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful and perfect and pristine and clean.
What
and
made
that
it
the people
that
were
way
so
to them?
nice. Okay. There were all kinds of things about the city that you would never expect. Like when you think of an ancient Mesoamerican city, you imagine. Look up Tenochtitlan reconstruction, if you would, and there are modern day reconstructions of it that really give you an idea of how beautiful it was. Now this is a Spanish recreation of the city. So you can see it's sitting in the middle of this lake, but wait till you see these new 3D reconstructions. It's sick, man.
It's amazing that they were able to build something like that. I mean, again, you can say the same shit about like Venice too.
Check that out.
That people can even rebuild that. Is that wait? That's a reconstruction right there.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a digital reconstruction of what it would have looked like based on archaeological data. Yeah, it's beautiful.
That looks like a Ibiza in the middle of the fucking Colorado Rockies.
Tell me that doesn't look amazing. So the Spaniards had never seen anything like this. They said it was more beautiful than any city that they'd seen in Spain.
How do you even militarily conquer something like that? It's quite literally fortified. I'm just thinking in like older terms. Well, now there's technology.
You know what's crazy is this is a great mystery about the Aztecs is that Moctezuma knew that the Spaniards were marching through Mexico trying to find him. Because they had heard the name, the Spaniards had heard of Moctezuma, they'd heard of the Aztecs, they knew the city Tenochtitlan, they were looking for it. And Moctezuma knew that Cortez was headed for him, and rather than just meeting Cortez head on and going straight to war with him, Moctezuma invited Cortez into the palace and let all, I think roughly 150 Spaniards into the heart of Tenochtitlan, where they took Moctezuma captive in his own palace. And that we don't exactly know how Moctezuma died in that palace, but it was like he just opened up the gates and let him in.
Listen, it didn't work out how it was supposed to because something got fucked up. But Montezuma, and I know this, I have a really good source on this. He was a huge fan of The Godfather, and rule number 1 is keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. He was just, he was 3D chessing them.
He was trying,
and then he got a little 4D, and
he did, yeah.
That's what happened.
And the Spaniards, man, this is with the Aztec Empire and the Inca Empire, they just conquer it like immediately, like it was nothing. It's one of the most bizarre things of Mesoamerica because a lot of people, again, this is kind of, I guess this has sort of become my purpose is to popularize pre-Columbian history and like help people understand more of the nuances because they look at the Native American world as like primitive and vastly inferior to the Europeans because of how easily Europeans seem to have conquered Mexico. That couldn't be further from the truth. Like, I mean, when the Maya tried to go to war against the Spaniards could barely conquer the Maya. They just couldn't do it. And the Aztecs were far superior warriors with much more numbers and were much more sophisticated at that same time or contemporaneously. And anyways, yeah, Cortez just essentially gets invited into the palace in Tenochtitlan, and they're sitting there in the middle of the city. They take Moctezuma captive and essentially put the entire Aztec Empire on hold. And nobody knows exactly what happened to Moctezuma in that temple. I think there's 3 different theories as to what happened. One, he was strangled to death and he was killed or something, and the Aztecs later found his body in the temple. 2, he was strangled to death or killed, and the Spaniards threw his body over the side of the walls, like out into the street. Or 3, they convinced Moctezuma to become a spokesperson for the Spaniards, right? To like, essentially, he would be like a puppet emperor, right? On behalf of the Spaniards. And then the Aztecs were so pissed off that they stoned Moctezuma to death.
Hey guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's a huge, huge help. Thank you.
In response. So those are the 3 stories that we get from the Spaniards. So obviously conflicting details.
No one knows what happened.
Nobody knows exactly what happened to him. But long story short, the Spaniards are in the middle of Tenochtitlan, in the palace, in the giant plaza center that you see there, surrounded by millions of Aztecs. And they've got themselves fortified inside the palace. Of course, the Spaniards are covered in armor. They have swords. Swords are just... So a difference in warfare. The Spaniards, the Aztecs were also shocked that the Spaniards, their style of warfare was complete total war. It wasn't about like extrapolating. It wasn't about subduing you and then taking your materials from you. It was about eliminating your existence. Yeah. Like you and I, most of the time when you get in this is sort of Mesoamerican warfare. It's kind of like a street fight. You're not intending to kill the other person. You just want to subdue them and hurt them really badly and then get what you need out of the situation. Right?
That's what they would do?
That's Mesoamerican war. Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't fly with Europe.
It doesn't fly with Europe. Let's go. Yes, exactly. And so they were shocked that, these swords that they have, this is This is killing people.
Yeah.
They don't even exist anymore. It was just shocking brutality, even to the Aztecs. That
The people throwing hearts off the
exactly
off the
right.
stage.
It's crazy, right? Yeah, it was
Doesn't make sense.
because it's a completely different. It's a completely alien world to us. They even gave their enemy's death significance because so they would have something called the makawi, which was a club that had razor sharp obsidian edges on the end, and so they would also have like a wooden shield. And so when they would run at each other in battle, you would try to hit each other with this bat with these razor edges, and you essentially wanted to cripple the guy and then tie him up. There you
That's
go.
what they would use.
Yeah, yeah. So it has
It's better than a Louisville.
it's cool, right? And so you in those obsidian. So there's nothing sharper than obsidian, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, but this takes like a little bit of the work out of it though too. Like one blow, I mean, you're crunching bones.
Oh yeah,
Whereas with a Louisville, it's more personal. You gotta take a couple hacks at
Like,
it. You can feel the crack.
like Inglorious Bastards.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I've
yeah.
never done this before. I've just I've heard it
Yeah,
from a lot of people.
Yeah, Italian from Jersey. Sure, you haven't.
Listen. I keep the bat in the car. I didn't say we use it. It's just there as a
Yeah.
when you need a bat.
So they go to war
Steve's
with
laughing
these
because
things.
he knows that's true. But go ahead.
they go to war with these things, and you're essentially breaking each other's arms and legs. You're crippling the guy that you're fighting, and then you're going to tie him up, drag him back to the city center, pull him to the top of the pyramid, and then rip his heart out and sacrifice him to the war god or the sun god or the rain god. But you even give your enemy's death a sense of significance, right? Like every living thing has a sense of significance, even if they're your enemy, even to the Aztecs, right? Europe, like, dude, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Their whole the Spaniards just slaughtered people in the marketplace. Like, even in Tenochtitlan, they slaughtered 3,000 men, women, and children with iron swords, and
How did they?
it's just a total war. It was shocking even to Mesoamerican.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.